This is Tottenham Hotspur, and they just won the Europa League. However, they're still only the 6th best team in the Premier League. So today, I'm taking over Spurs for the next 10 seasons to make them the best side in the Premier League by winning 25 trophies. However, it won't be easy because every season the wheel decides our fate. But regardless, no matter what is thrown at us, I will be turning Spurs to the world's best Premier League side. And I can't lie, this Spurs side is looking very exciting. Players like Dejan Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, and Destiny Udogie. And you can't forget the new signings in Matthias Tell, young center back Vuskovic, and of course, Mohamed Kudus. However, it's not all good as Heung-min Son is on his way to LAFC, so we're gonna have to transfer list him. However, we also can't forget that Tottenham have some of the best youth talents in England. And with 127 million, surely we can make Spurs into the best Premier League side. But before we make any signings, the wheel has to give us a challenge. And some of these challenges could double our budget to sign anyone we want. Or these challenges could screw us over and give our best players to Arsenal. And we get foreign frees. No foreign signing this window, only English players. And before we sign Englishmen, we have sold Heung-min Son and some more deadwood. As here are all the players that have left the club and we have made a bunch of money. So with 247 million, I want to go ahead and sign a superstar striker, a superstar right winger, and a backup left back, and potentially a backup keeper. So for 20 million, I brought in Tyreek Mitchell for the backup left back. Up next, for 25 million, we brought Dean Henderson to backup Vicario. And for another 20 million, we brought in Tyler Dibley to compete with Brennan Johnson. And finally, for a whopping 45 million, we brought in Ollie Watkins. So this is the brand new Tottenham side. It's looking incredible. However, I'm not sure about this formation, but we will see at the end of the season, because if this formation fails, don't be surprised if I change it up. And I think we made the right signing as Watkins was our top goal scorer, as well as Madison, and Kudus had a pretty good season. And I can't lie, this team is looking great so far. However, of course, we did not win the Prem in our first season, and we failed to win the FA Cup, and we also failed to win the Carabao. And it comes to no shock that PSG beat us. And in the Champions League, it's a final between Paris and Bayern, as we lost 7-1 to Inter in the round of 16. And as we end the season with 0 trophies, I also want one of our players to win the Ballon d'Or. Subscribe and comment who you think it will be. However, to kick out season number 2, there's terrible news, as 3 superstars have left the club in Vicario, Romero, and Destiny Udogie. And that is because I forgot to mention, anytime a top 4 Prem club come in for one of our players, we must accept until we win the Premier League. And superstar European sides can take our players until we win the Champions League. So with 394 million, we must increase this side. But first, the wheel must choose the challenge this season. Do not make it harder than it already is. Carabao Cup curse. If you fail to win the Carabao Cup this season, give your best player to Arsenal. And boys, at the moment, our best player is Kulusevski. We do not want him going to Arsenal. But in terms of signing, we do need a brand new goalkeeper, center back, left back to improve this side. So the signings I have brought in is Fran Garcia from Real Madrid for 32 million. For 50 million, we brought in Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. And for 63 million, we brought in Adria Lunin. And this is the brand new Tottenham side. The quicker we win trophies, the quicker we can retain these players. But let's win that Carabao Cup. And we have successfully reached the Carabao Cup final. But we're facing City. If we lose this game, Kulusevski will be going to Arsenal. As Kudus and Mickey van de Ven are out injured, it's going to be a 2-0 victory. We win our first trophy. And once again, Ollie Watkins was the top goal scorer alongside Madison. But Tyler Dibbling had his breakout year. And like I mentioned before, the young talent are really growing. And of course, we got to keep Kulusevski. But I think next season, it's time for Matthias Tell's time to shine up top. But once again, we finished in 4th place. And we failed to win our 2nd trophy in the FA Cup. And in terms of the Champions League, it's a San Siro final, as this time we got grouped. So now with 1 trophy and 0 Ballon d'Or winners, I hope we can retain our players next season. And kicking off season number 3, I think it's time to test out a different formation. We do have James Madison and Dejan Kulusevski, who are both cams, but they've been playing center mid. So I think the best formation is a 4-3-3 attack, as Kulusevski will play in the attacking mid position while Madison and Sarr will hold behind him. However, this time we only lost 1 player in Dejan Kulusevski to Napoli for 100 million. But to be honest, that isn't so bad, as James Madison moves to the cam position. And in terms of signing players, I think we're fine. I'm not gonna sign anybody. But that is only if the wheel doesn't get rid of more of our players this season. It's going to be English ban. No signings allowed from England this season. Well, I wasn't gonna sign anybody anyways. So let's see if this brand new formation could win us more trophies. And Matthias Tell has his breakout season with 33 goals. goals. But Odegaard also had an amazing season. And boys, just take a look at this side, man. There's no way this team didn't win at least 2 trophies. But somehow we finished in 3rd place once again. But we did win the FA Cup. That's our 2nd trophy. And we failed to win the Carabao. And in the Champions League, it's Dortmund versus Juventus. As we got knocked out to Fenerbahce. What is going on here at Tottenham? And as we only have 2 trophies going into Season 4, some things need to change. And things get so much worse in Season 4 as Porro and Van de Ven have left to Barca and Arsenal respectively. But to be honest, we should be able to replace them as Vuskovic will be the new starting center back. But I think we're lacking a superstar in this front 3 if you want to win trophies. But the question is the wheel going to allow us to sign that superstar? And it's going to be trophy list punishment. For every trophy you fail to win this season, release a starting 11 player. And boys, the good thing is we're going to be able to bring that superstar. But we could lose up to 5 different players because we're in 5 competitions. So to replace Pedro Porro for 50 million, I brought in Malo Gusto. And for the superstar signing for 120 million plus Kudus, we are bringing in Rodrigo because Kudus never had a superstar season here. And trust me when I say this, with this new side, especially with Rodrigo, we're going to be winning a lot of trophies. And what a signing Rodrigo was with 39 goals, and Theo and Diblin continue to score. And boys, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the squad should be looking like to compete for all the trophies. But the question is, how many trophies did we win? Because we might lose up to 5 different players. And boys, we just failed to win the Premier League, which means we're losing one of our players at least. So the question is, who is going to be released on the free? Not Rodrigo, please. And it's Sar. But an 86 overall Papi Mateo Sar at 26 is now gone from the club. But yes, we have beaten Arsenal to the Community Shield. And we've also won the FA Cup. We keep 2 players. And we have also won the Carabao Cup. That's 3 trophies in 1 season. And boys, we're in the Champions League final against Arsenal, the team that beat us to the Premier League. But we're not only fighting for the 4th trophy of the season, we're fighting to keep another starting 11 player, and it's a 3-1 loss. We're losing somebody else. But the question is, who else are we losing? Nobody too good. Not Rodrigo, please. And it's Fran Garcia, our left back. And what a left back he was at an 85 overall. He is also gone from the club. But at least this season we won 3 trophies, which means we now have 5. And to kick off season number 5, surprisingly, we were able to maintain all of our players. And to replace Sar is Archie Gray, who's been going out alone, but it's now time for him to shine. But we definitely still need to bring in a left back, as well as a brand new attacking mid, as Madison is getting older. So for a whopping 90 million, we brought in Lewis Hall from Napoli. And for 50 million, we finally have brought in Morgan Gibbs-White. And as our squad has improved, surely we can finally win the Premier League. And Rodrigo just levels up 51 goals. Matthias Tell and Diblin continue amazing performances. And this team is looking like the best in the Premier League. However, I'm worried if we don't win the Prem or the UCL, a lot of these players will be purchased. And yes, boys, we have finally won the Premier League. And we also win the Community Shield, but we failed to win the FA Cup and failed to win the Carabao. And we also failed to win the Club World Cup as we are eliminated in the semis. But once again, we're in the Champions League final. If we win this game, absolutely nobody can purchase our players from now on. But as the Premier League clubs are eliminated from stealing our players, can we stop the big European sides? And it's a 2-1 loss. It just wasn't meant to be. But we now have a total of 7 trophies and are now immune from Premier League sides of buying our players. And man, we should have won that Champions League, as in season 6, Matthias Tell and Malo Gusto have left to Madrid and Inter Milan. But the good thing is we were able to keep majority of our sides, so we should be competing for that Champions League again. That is, of course, if the wheel allows us to do so. Please do not give us anything too bad. English superiority. Get a free signing from any English club. We will take that. So for absolutely free, we have gotten Samu from Brighton Hove Albion. And for 70 million, we have brought in Rico Lewis. And this is what the brand new Tottenham side is looking like. We need to win the Champions League. If not, we could easily lose Samu and the rest of our big players to big European sides. And Rodrigo just has another super season. I'm glad I signed him up. And we pick up our 8th trophy with the Premier League and make that 9 with the Community Shield. But we failed to win the FA Cup, losing in the final to Liverpool. And we lost to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. But we have the chance to redeem ourselves as we face Paris in the final again. Can we go ahead and win our first ever UCL here? And it's going to be a 1-1 draw, loss and penalties. We just can't win the Champions League, man. man. As we add 2 more trophies to our cabinet, having a total of 9. And in Season 7, we have been punished for not winning the Champions League, as Tyler Dibbling and Rodrigo have both gone to the Serie A. However, there's a bit of good news as Mikey Moore is now the starting winger, but we still need a right winger. So as long as we don't lose any other players, we will sign a right winger and maybe win the Champions League. Arsenal rule: every time you lose to Arsenal this season, they get your highest rated starter. Boys, we could lose a bunch of players. So for 120 million, we are bringing in Kendrick Pius from Chelsea in hopes that we don't lose to Arsenal. But remember, we've lost to them in Cup finals and Champions League finals. And it's time for our first game against Arsenal in the Premier League. We can still face them in the UCL and the other cups, but let's see if we can beat them first time around. And it's a 2-1 win. And we have ran into Arsenal in the Champions League, which means we have to face them at least 2 more times. Let's see how the first leg goes. Let's not lose, and it's a 2-2 draw. That is not a loss. And it's time for the second leg. We need to get to the next round, but more importantly, not lose at all. And it's a 3-1 victory. Our players are still safe, but we still have one last game against Arsenal in the Premier League. We better not lose the last one. After all we've been through, everybody is injured though. Please, let's not lose. And it's a 2-0 loss. We're losing our best player to Arsenal, and our best player is Lucas Bergvall. He will be going to Arsenal. And there goes Lucas Bergvall. We almost got away without losing a player. And what a first season for Mikey Moore. What a way to replace Rodrigo. But like the issues we had before, this team is incredible. But if we don't win the Champions League, our players could be gone. And we have won our 10th trophy with the Premier League and make it 11 with the Community Shield. And that's 12 with the FA Cup. But we failed to make it 13. But we are now facing Juventus in the Champions League final. We can make it 13 trophies and prevent any European clubs from stealing our players. But it's time for the Champions League final. Bergvall is no longer there, so Madison is filling in. Can we finally do it? And yes, we have, as we finally have won the Champions League. And because we won the Champions League, Mikey Moore is our Ballon d'Or winner, the one we wanted. So now with 3 seasons left to go, we need to win 12 trophies. But even though we're immune to the big clubs, the wheel can screw us over. Let's see what it's gonna give us here. Chelsea pressure. You must beat Chelsea at least once this season, and if you fail, Chelsea get your top goal scorer. Well, we just won the Champions League, so we should be able to beat them once. But of course, if you take a look at this team, we still need to replace Lucas Bergvall. So for 100 million, we're bringing in Chris Rigg. And just look at him in Tottenham's new kit. If you want these in your career mode, check Road Kits in the link in the description. And so as Chris Rigg joins the side, let's see how many trophies we can win. But it's time for our first game against Chelsea. All we have to do is win and not worry about anything. And it's a 2-0 loss. We might only have one more chance to beat Chelsea. We need to make sure we win. And boys, this is our last chance against Chelsea. If we lose our top goal scorer at the end of the season to them, and it's a 2-1 loss. How do we lose to them, bro? And we reached the end of the season, and Samu is our top goal scorer, which means he's gone. So boys, there goes Samu to the Blue London club. As currently we only have walk-ins if we're in the Champions League final. But we win our 14th trophy with the Prem and make that 15 with the Community Shield. And we win 16 with the FA Cup, and that's 17 with the Carabao Cup, 18 trophies with the International Cup. We're cooking. And we win 19 with the UEFA Super Cup. We're only 6 trophies away. But we can make it 20 with the UEFA Champions League. But we're facing PSG. They've beaten us in 2 UCL finals in the past, and it's a 3-1 victory. So we now have 20 trophies, 5 more trophies in 2 seasons left. But before we can replace Samu in Season 9, let's see what the wheel is going to give us. Prime Harry Kane regen. You may create a Prime Harry Kane regen in your team. We're taking that. So here we have a Prime Harry Kane regen in Nicholas Potts. 90 overall, the exact same playstyle as Prime Harry Kane had. And he was the perfect replacement to Samu. Let's win our last 5 trophies. And at the end of the season, Mikey Moore is a top goal scorer. But what a first season from Nicholas Potts. And if things go our way, this might be the final side. But we have won the Premier League title. That's 21. Make that 22 with the Community Shield. And that is 23 trophies with the FA Cup. Make that 24 with the Carabao. And yes, we have done it, 25 trophies. But let's see if we won it all. 26 trophies with the UEFA Super Cup. And we're in the Champions League final against Lost Lille. Let's go ahead and finish this off with a bang. 27 trophies for Tottenham. Win their third Champions League, I believe, 4-0. It's all over. And if you guys enjoyed this video, click on the screen and watch me take over Barcelona for the next 10 seasons.